Hey, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Benton City workshop on budget. It's November the 13th, 2023. Calling the meeting to order. Okay. Pledge of Allegiance. Let's see, maybe Mr. Burton would like to lead us today.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Lynn. Okay, roll call, please.
Councilwoman Wadsworth. Here. Councilman Sandretto.
Here.
Councilman Reed.
He's coming.
He's coming. Councilwoman Alcazar.
Here.
And Councilwoman Funk is.
Bill's on the Zoom.
Okay. Councilman Reed.
Here.
Okay. So we have everyone here then. All right. So we'll move on to the agenda. And I believe we are only going to have the budget workshop this evening. No other agenda items. Okay. So how did you want to handle this, Carla?
Well, I guess we're gonna go through it. If everybody has reviewed the budget, I would say, where are you finding what you feel needs changed or what you don't agree with? If you haven't, we can go through it line by line.
I think we need to analyze it
Okay, let's analyze and
the best we can.
Okay.
Make sure that I really wish Councilwoman Funk was here because she's better at this than all of us combined.
We will survive.
you got it. So essentially and I can let Sherry take over on any of this. But essentially our taxes, those are gonna fluctuate because it just goes, those numbers change all the time by what comes in.
Are we expecting any more property tax payments?
Yes.
When's the next set due?
Well, they just email it to me. They're still processing everything from the 31st. I haven't received a lot and I was off today, so.
I don't think anything came in today.
No, you didn't get an email or anything?
No, not on property taxes.
Yeah. I imagine it's gonna take them a little bit to get everything adjusted.
There's something December, we get a payment on that, don't we?
You get a
remember?
payment.
They should be coming in any time.
Yeah, you get a payment on the just local property tax.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get them at least 2 or 3 times a week.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know their process.
Yeah, there should be bulk points though, so like you should get large amounts.
Sums, yeah, I haven't yet.
Okay. Cause I don't like the actuals versus the appropriated of course.
Right,
Right, and that is just because the big chunk hasn't come in yet for the second half. of
Right.
taxes.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
mean, we
October
get-
is when that comes in.
We
Right.
get anywhere from 1,000.
Well, it's
I think it's
November.
December,
Yeah,
December.
but I mean, it has to be paid by a certain time in October.
October, yes.
If you have
Right.
the two
Right,
payments, yeah.
so-
Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
And there are some things that I did not add in at the time she sent this out, so I will mention those when we get to those parts.
Okay, did we want to still keep the our building permits at 90,000. Are we anticipating that this year?
Building permits.
For this year?
Yeah, coming up.
No.
Yeah, you're north.
I have a figure we went off.
Very soon.
What's that mean? Like
As soon as they get for Christmas.
okay,
pretty much.
so then, I mean, if they start dropping homes in, then.
Okay.
Well, we might have to adjust that one then.
It'd be better to undercut it than
Right.
be on the top end.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So what do you want to?
I-
Place it at? It's hard to, like, some of these is really hard to do because we had the moratorium for so long that. You know,
Yeah.
where nothing could be
Right.
built. And so it was like, okay, what do you do? But now we have like, with River North going in. I don't know how far along Olson Brothers will get with theirs, which is another 219.
I have a feeling they'll probably start sometime this next year, won't they, Alan?
I would think they have everything in for review at this point. So I think they're gonna get in and build it as quick as they
Yeah.
can. And
Yeah, Alan, can you come up when you speak? So we're having to record this because Margaret couldn't be
Why
here.
don't you just take Sarah's spot?
Yeah, yeah.
all right.
And then why don't we bring the planner up, and take the
Yeah.
attorney's spot?
Yeah.
Well, what the heck, we should bring Bill and Jenny, Lynn and Jenny.
So I don't know where.
Fill up the
you-
table.
If you want to, like,
You might
bring it down to
join
the
us.
90,000 or, you know, leave it at 90,000. So I agree, I'd rather be. You know, we be under.
Yeah,
than what we
What do you
get.
guys
So I don't
think?
wanna
because
project
we're
it.
looking at that as revenue
Right.
and we need to balance that against what our expenditure is,
What does a building permit cost?
So, I mean, that's where I would just like, if we high guesstimate that to, let's say like 10,000. A home, so even if they dropped in 10 homes, you're at 100,000. Within the end of the year, right?
That's what a building permit is.
That's all, yeah, your water sewer connection, the building permit, are those counted in that, or?
water and sewer would be separate. This is just.
Okay,
building
so
permits.
then we're looking at probably about 7,000.
And see, last year you
house.
pushed $45,000 in building permits. The previous year we were high because we had a lot of development going on.
Well, we can't really count last year because we had that moratorium in place, so I mean, we can't really figure anything off of that.
But see, we can't guarantee we're gonna have 90,000 either.
I bet we'll probably come with that if the Olson, I think if they, and I have a feeling they're gonna blast as fast as they can to get that built.
Okay,
I mean, we can go
I mean,
90,000,
that's
or we
two-
can drop it down to 75.
this is what we're basing what we spend on, so I wanna make sure we're balancing out and being conservative.
Well,
Drop
if,
it down to
Once you
75.
30, because if you get more, you want.
Well, I'm sure we'll make the 45, because we did that even though we were,
Right.
so.
Mr. Press, what were you gonna say?
You also have Horn Apartments. I think there was 28, no, 30,
For apartments, there's 9, there's 18.
18 apartments there. It's brand new. That'll come online too. There are 210 lots proposed for Olson Brothers.
Right.
And they want to build it in phases, but they want to build them as soon as there's the market. And so they plan to get moving as soon as they're approved.
I'd feel more comfortable adjusting it down at least 15,000.
It's 15.
If anybody has a disagreement on that, please speak.
Didn't hear
I would rather go under two,
at 75,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
75.
our animal licenses, I think we need to bring it down. Unless. Yeah, Jen, speak to that, but.
I wouldn't say you're gonna have any more, probably licenses, maybe a couple. Might want to go to 20 on it or 22.
Do you anticipate an increase in pet licensing or,
For next year,
yeah,
probably not. I would hope so. I mean, I think we're gonna send out renewals and stuff like that this year, so that would up it a little bit, but I'm not sure what that looks like, honestly.
I think dropping it down a little bit would,
let's just take it to 3,000. That gives some room. I want to make sure we don't overspend. This is my thing right now.
Right.
So with the privilege tax, Madam Mayor, do you know that Northwest Energy? Does that fluctuate?
Mm.
I imagine it would.
It looked like it fluctuated, but you're not gonna get 2 payments this year, you're only gonna get 1. This is the one you're gonna get, and that's it.
Yeah, and what are we looking at next year? Do you think we're gonna get the 2?
I would kind of keep it at, well,
I'm okay keeping it where it's at. It's close enough, but I'm just curious as if we're anticipating any kind of increase there.
I don't know, because I think it decreased.
Okay. What is the city assistance piece
City assistance fee,
or piece? I said. It's the next one down.
for 110.
it's a
178.
state fee that we get the commercial justice fund. Yeah, let's see here, we get like 6 things from the state on this, that comes from the county and the court.
Okay, like it's that criminal justice tax.
Right.
Kind of.
Okay.
I think and truthfully, with the economy, it's like some of these things, you're gonna get these fees based off of, fines.
Mhm.
And
Right.
quite frankly, I think with the economy and people, they let their fines go. Because they want to pay for their home or food or regardless if it puts them into jail. So I really think that we're probably high on it.
Okay.
What do you think would,
Well, it's like we've only averaged, well, our actuals for this year are 78,000
Right.
and truthfully, I'd probably put it at like 75.
Have we been averaging in that ballpark?
I don't know that we've been averaging. I just, it's
because the last one was 78, and you think 80,000 would be a comfort? Like that would be
probably,
perfect? I mean, it gives us a
I've-
couple extra thousand.
yeah, and I mean, if it comes in higher, great, people are actually paying their fines, but I wouldn't count on that, so,
Okay,
What do you feel about that?
that sounds good.
Okay. I'm good with that.
So it's gonna be 75, okay,
80,
80.
80, okay.
get it a little bit closer, so
Just in case.
Mhm.
we balance that out.
Looks like the marijuana is kind of right in the same zone, so that probably will stay the same.
Yeah, the excise tax.
And then you go to the liquor 25 and then 26. Are we looking to keep that the same, or do you think that will,
I think it's fine.
it's good?
Yeah, I think we're good there. Like I said, if we get a little extra money in, then that's fine.
How about the plane checking fee?
The which one?
The what?
Plane checking fee?
Plane checking.
Plane checking.
Name checking fee.
Probably
We're all-
plan.
Plan,
I'm sorry.
checking fee. I'm like, plane.
Want a copy of this?
No, do you have an extra one?
Yeah.
Oh, I'll take it.
Oh.
Usually I read everything on my phone, but these are really small prints. I'm having to blow them up and then shrink them down. It's
Yeah, I'm having
Scroll over.
the print on this one.
Yeah,
I
that's a
need one
big
of those
difference there in the
ones.
plans.
Sorry about that. Now I can see again.
Would-
So that, and I think that's a George question. So,
Well, the plan checking fee comes off of the building permits
yeah,
for Northwest Code, so they take what, 80%?
and we
Yes.
get the
So that's how it gets billed out. They have a plan checking section and then they have the building permit section.
Mhm.
And so there again, we were in that thing where we're in the moratorium for, 3/4 of the year. So it's, what do you?
Well, I'm conservative on this, so
Well, and
I'm,
I don't mind being conservative. 'cause
I,
I'd rather
I,
be-
I think that should take it, we should take that down to 45,
Okay.
since these are all assets, right?
Um, Then the other planning and development, obviously, we didn't get anything this year on that, and I'm not sure. I think 40,000 is too high,
What would go into that?
and then that would be
It's a good question.
planning things that like George takes care of it. Would be my guess. It's like. There's services we can charge for. And quite frankly, if, you have somebody that's coming back time and time and time again, basically because they don't like the answer that you've given them numerous times. But it's like, they want you to review it again and again and again. Well, we need to start charging that. It's like, okay, you're gonna get one or two, which is fine, but it's when it's
Continually.
continually, because they don't like the answer that they get. Or they don't wanna go find the answer that, you tell them this is where that's at. I don't think we should keep.
What do
giving
you
our
think
time
would
away.
be a good amount in that? Cut in half or?
I mean, if we wanna be conservative, I'd say 15,000.
Okay.
Because 10%,
15,000.
10% of the fees is supposed to go back to planning and development.
Right. So,
Well, this would be additional charge stuff, so.
Mhm.
business license late fees, I think we need to take those out. Because the business licenses, we don't even issue them anymore. It's Department of Revenue, correct?
Right.
That does
Mhm.
that, so I think it needs to be
Scratch it.
zero.
Oh, do they not collect late fees for us, or?
It all goes through the state, and the state sends us deposits into our account and sends us a notice telling what they charged. It's very plain,
And they don't have late fees listed on there?
no.
Whereas before
I don't think we
Collected,
received the late fee.
it's like we
I
issued
think
the
they-
business
They keep
permits,
it.
and now.
Makes sense. That's
Up your leg, we're keeping it.
how they make some money.
We're gonna make that zero,
Yeah,
okay?
for now.
Um,
Unless you see late fees show up.
Yeah, I haven't seen the job yet.
And then that's something we could add in because we're about ready to update that with the Washington State Department of Revenue for, we're combining in everything for home occupations and the residential use permits. So if that was something that you guys wanted to update and that gets collected, I don't know what that looks like, but we could try.
Okay. And like, they're probably keeping.
You're probably keeping it.
They're probably keeping it. They probably already have something wrote out about it.
Yes, probably do.
So animal late fees,
The animal license late fees, I'm thinking kick it to 200. On the most part, people are pretty good about getting in here and getting their animals licensed. And this is a late fee.
Just cut it in half to 5.
Just cut it to 5.
Code violations, Jen has more time now, since George is on. She's actually on.
Ginny, you didn't meet your quota this year.
I didn't. Hey, there's still 2 months. I think I'm going over. I'll find something.
That's $700.
I think that one's good.
Okay. This NSF, I just leave it,
Non-sufficient fee, non-utilities, bad checks.
I'd say leave the local sales interest where it's at. Just give us some cushion. The facility rentals, so for the park, yes. I don't know, I guess we could up that, maybe put it at 8,000.
That sounds good.
Yeah, we could. Looks like we're doing pretty good with that, actually.
We are. And then the community center, since we just increased the fees on that, and it's pretty well rented all the time.
And nobody's really complained about the fees. being
No.
raised up.
No,
How much
they
did you guys
haven't.
raise them?
Well, if you were out, if you don't live in Benton City, it was raised to, what was it raised to? $250 deposit or something like that.
$250 deposit for residential, then non.
I don't remember, but
Oh, okay.
we brought it up, and because if you don't live in Benton City, because we had a lot of people that from the Tri-Cities or whatever that would come, oh, well, we're gonna rent here. But then they, they don't care. It's
Yep.
not part of their community, so they didn't care if they left a mess
Right.
or, so it's like enough of this. Because we're having to clean it up, so
Well, I think anywhere you go to rent anything, it's pretty high priced.
yeah, so, and it actually is still a heck of a deal out here.
It's
But I-
it's gonna increase because she's
It
got it
is.
rented out. Clear to the end of the year.
So I'm thinking we can probably up that to like 38,000 and be pretty close on it.
Yeah.
Good with that, Dave?
Yeah, that's fine.
Question, now your 2023 actuals only through 10 months, is it not?
This
Would
is
it do
through
38?
11/7,
For that.
11/7, so we still have almost 2 months of revenue.
right?
I was
to
looking up,
come in.
it's
Come in.
250
Yeah.
for residents and 500 for non-residents up to 6 hours.
Yeah, 38.
I think everything else probably pretty decent. Because we're gonna have some lap over, right? So like the facilities deposits, you give those back, right?
Right, unless there's, if they didn't clean anything up or if there's damage or something, they can lose their deposit. But on the most part, it gets paid back.
Mhm. Okay. So we appropriated an anticipated revenue stream of 4.7 last year, and we only brought in 3 million. This year, we're appropriating 3.2. Is that correct?
Yes.
we've essentially eliminated about 80,000 of that. Okay,
Okay, so then we'll get to. So I'm saying leave your official publications or the meeting notices at 7,500. If that fluctuates, just depends on how many things we need to notice out.
yeah,
And as far as council, are you guys leaving your wages the same?
yeah, I don't see anticipate any increase over this year. Please, no. No more meetings.
Training, do you want to leave the 2,500?
Yeah, that's
covered?
just a guess. That at some point, somebody may have time to go to training, so.
Um, Then you have the mayor salary and wages and benefits and,
That all looks good to me.
okay. Deal with any audit stuff after we're done with this one. Hopefully. So then when you get to the admin salaries and wages, so because we were off last year on how we figured it, Sarah actually had me do a full spreadsheet, which helped tremendously to break it down as to what percentages were for each thing. And for each category, so basically what is in the appropriated for 2024 is what what it works out at. I did figure salaries and I have no idea what it's going to be, but I did it at a 3.5% increase over what it was, to try to cover things. The one thing this is not going to cover is any standby overtime. It's just your straight 40 hours a week, 52 weeks out of the year. So it does not take into account any overtime or standby time or any of that.
Okay.
I did increase I don't think the temporary admin wages with Express of 20,000, I think we can take that out. I don't.
Not this year.
No.
Everything's going good then in the office as far as,
It is.
okay,
The benefits and whatnot, I've upped them with the raise that they've put on that as far as for insurance and whatnot. That's all calculated again.
Are we gonna increase the office supplies?
No, I think we're okay on office supplies. We went in, yeah, I know, we went way over. A lot of that was, we went out and bought all of George's stuff, so his desks, his computers, all of that. It threw us over. We had, I know Margaret got a new computer. The mayor got a new computer. So we had some things, Jen got a new computer, and we had a whole lot of them that were they were not good. And it threw us over, and we've really tightened down this screws on quit ordering stuff. And so now it's like you place an order a month and you better have it all in or it's not getting ordered. So before it was like all over the place. And it's like, no, this does not work.
Yeah.
So tighten down on that considerably. So I think the 7,000 is fine, and we're gonna be keeping a really close eye on that. So if anybody needs stuff, it's gonna be coming out of their budget. It's not gonna come out of the office supply budget. The software maintenance agreement, so we've gone through that. It's split between where it was just all under one thing, it's now split between everybody. Because some of it is through planning, some of it is through code enforcement, some of it is through water and sewer, because it affects everybody.
Mhm.
And it depends on what system they're using, but it's like we still have these agreements, so we have split it between the different departments.
Okay.
Same thing with, let's see, audit, we don't have anything.
Don't have anything under the audits.
No, well, we shouldn't, because it's all being done now. So. We should probably have something under the city IT support, we were splitting that also. Dustin, basically, I think we're being charged with everything, it's like about 1,400 a month.
Right.
But that's taking care of everything, and we were splitting it also amongst, but I see that down here in this
Yeah. that's
this
what I'm
bottom
looking
one,
at,
we don't
right?
have that in there. So,
We have IT support. Looks like it's not even there. The IT upgrade,
so it just needs to, well, the upgrades are just upgrades, but, so we need to split that up between, the different departments.
Well, is that his contract? Is that where we're?
It
See
is.
that? Okay.
Yeah. Because before we didn't have IT support at all in the
Mhm.
budget. And so now that we have his contract where he takes care of all of it, then it's like, okay, we need to budget this.
Mhm.
And, you know, just and split it up amongst the,
You breaking it out into per computer thing and then allocating a bulk
pretty much.
dollar to each
Yeah,
one.
so, and it's basically, it's about 15,000 a year for that, for the support. Where you just.
So what's-
takes care of it.
What's the
Um,
difference between the city IT support and then IT support?
It's all the same. Is there another one on here? Which is
If
like
you-
another
one on there.
Go a couple pages over, you have IT support for 9,820 and 83 cents.
Is that
And then IT
category?
upgrades below it, which is the licensing.
Okay,
we need to check the barcodes.
yeah. We do.
Where do you got that one? What page?
It's on page 6.
There's one on page
Mhm.
4.
The 518, 80, 4201.
There's one on page 6.
Well, that looks like you just have two different codes.
It's
Mhm.
very possible. And. Yeah, we're trying to get them.
Cause that's still in the same category set,
Okay.
right? 554? No,
No,
it's
well,
different.
we're just under the fence, and,
Remember, finance record, recording and election.
And it's free.
First one, the second one, central services.
I need to check the barcode on it.
okay. Well, as far as IT support. It's runs around 15,000 a year. But I would like to have it split up between departments. So it's not all coming out of just
Yeah,
You
well,
know.
that makes sense.
city office or, you know,
Right.
so.
They were gonna split it between sewer, water,
Planning.
planning.
And we're just
Code.
gonna have to average out is go by computers. It's like you have this much.
Right.
And then, this is how many computers are running in one office. Mhm.
Right. I'll get the.
So what is that?
percentages and get that split
For the 15,000.
for 15,000.
That work?
It does, I'm just thinking to simplify your guys' life though, there's only really three funds we gotta worry about, right? General fund, water, and then sewer.
Mhm.
And we gotta not commingle water and sewer,
Mhm.
but those obviously should bear a portion of the burden of the cost of that sort of stuff. So,
Split it down to just three.
yeah, I think you could do that.
Okay.
And like in your general central services or wherever you want to put it, I don't know. That would probably be the bulk of your computer usage, right? And you could just include in there, all city office staff.
Okay.
PCs. And then under the water service PCs, under the sewer pieces, because the Wade's got a PC down there, right?
Yes.
And then I don't know, the water guys come in and use this one, don't they, or one of these?
They use the one in Jose's office in the
They've got
back.
Jose's office,
Okay.
but they've got their tablets that they use, and I believe there might be a computer down at the shop.
Okay, and so all of those would classify for them, and that would be their portion, right?
Right. Okay.
I think that that's sufficient, because then we can pull from those funds to pay for those particular pieces.
So that's looking at three departments then, in a sense.
Yeah.
It's gonna- Okay.
Officer and-
I know I seen in our budget a few years ago that we broke everything out just down to each individual piece, but really
It makes it hard.
it's tough
It
to
is-
track all that.
It is tough to track it all. It's a whole lot of figuring when you have to do.
Well, you
Yeah.
gotta know you got that pot to pull from for paying into the other fund, right? And then it's like, well, why not just have it lumped together? If it's all coming from the general fund, just say PC support services.
um, On that page. Things.
I don't know.
So you would do the same for the software maintenance agreements then?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's my opinion on it.
Okay, and when we get to the phone, I think we finally got it figured out. There was a whole lot of line that we were paying some crazy stuff, and it took a long time to figure it out as to what it was. Sherry found things that were,
That we weren't even,
we didn't have.
we're paying for it, we didn't even have it.
So we started cutting things off, and nobody's complained that they lost service on anything, so. It's like, but it was like you couldn't match it to anything, but you
Mhm.
had these phone numbers or, and it was. It was like, this is crazy, so, it's like, as long as, we checked with everybody, made sure that they had. What they needed and what their phone number was, and then we started.
Well, it was
No.
probably when we made that switch last year, or the year. Was it?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, so we actually finally got that corralled and figured out. So I think probably what we have in here as far as the 6,700 for, our landline is probably pretty close.
Well, it looked like they're matching actuals fairly good all the way
Yeah.
down.
Yeah, so. I think we're probably high on the training seminars, but who knows? Just depends.
Well, I think, when it comes to the seminars and that sort of thing, I'd rather be a little higher in the training
So
aspect,
we have it covered.
so that it's covered and then, if we don't use it, great. This is the opposite of the other one, right?
Right,
If it's
yeah,
there and we don't use it,
Right.
good, but we do have to kind of balance the two, right? We got to
Yeah.
balance, so.
Yeah, on those I'd rather have enough to cover it. Think legal services, I guess it just depends on what we're dealing with. So we're pretty much in there at the 100,000.
The city hall rent, does that take into consideration the increase?
Yes, it does.
Okay. I figured, but I just want to double check.
And we do have, we have a storage unit also. I think it's included in all within that, that we pay $100 a month on that storage unit. It would, and it's full. So, but it's like, where do you put everything? It's like,
Right.
so all the holiday decorations and the float, and I mean, they've got a lot of stuff over there. So we do have that also.
And where is this at?
It's right down on, I think it's down where I have mine, Kent
Yeah.
Parker's,
Yep, it's the
Yeah.
one on Babs.
yeah, between, across from Dan Decker's house.
It's on the south side of Babs, yeah, across from his rental, between 7th and 3rd.
That's the first time I've ever heard about that. And I probably have never known it was included in that.
Well, we just figured it out, so, because Sherry and I were going, what are you talking about? But we're like, what do you mean we have a storage unit? But we do, because there was no place to put everything, so apparently a storage unit was rented a very long time ago. And,
Well, one day when we get a new city hall, we can
yeah.
move everything back.
So it's,
Or maybe we should consider a storage shed down at the city yards.
That's what I was thinking.
well, that's what the guys want. You can ask Jose, he really wants a shop.
No, no, I'm not talking.
For two different things here.
Storage for all of the machinery.
Yeah, that's a little bit bigger than a shed.
That's a little bit more than Christmas decorations.
Yeah.
Let's not get excited.
Yeah, but in the long run.
But in the long run, you know, yeah. mm,
Operating supplies overrun related to bringing on the staff like you were talking about.
Yeah,
Okay.
part of it. Don't really have a whole lot of repair or maintenance in here, but so I think leaving that at 500 is probably a good thing.
City Hall operating equipment.
Um,
Anybody?
That actually should, I think the operating equipment should be like our copier
Okay.
and stuff, but I'm not sure what those fees are going under.
Yeah, we got a
But-
bar for the problem here, let's see.
Yeah, we've got a whole lot of cleaning up we need to do on it.
Well, it's probably a placeholder for purchase of,
It could be,
in
but
case we have to replace the copier at some point. That's probably fairly accurate and used copier cost.
well,
Release.
Well, if it was a lease, then you'd see
It's in a
it.
different area.
Yeah, you'd see it there.
In the next page, you have the metered copies.
right, and so it probably could be just a placeholder. I don't know if the thing is 3,500 there, but
Well, that'll be a place
It's
you
a-
can pull from to balance.
right. The graffiti abatement, Jen, you know what that runs?
No, but isn't this the agreement that we have with the juvenile justice center?
is. So,
I thought it was like a set fee.
It's not a set fee, they only charge us as
As
they
we
do
call.
it, so yeah, it's a set fee. But then only when you call them,
I
and they
thought,
come out, actually, they charge us.
okay,
The
because the
sheriff-
contract was saying it was like $300 for whatever. Per month for like 3 months bound together or something. Have you seen the
I
contract?
haven't seen the contract. but I have talked to the gal.
Oh, okay, then you know.
Yeah, I've talked to her.
Okay. So I would say we probably need to up that to about 2,500 to just be on the safe side since.
I think that's smart since we're seeing a little bit more graffiti lately.
Right.
Mhm.
The insurance, I did go in and updated that with the new numbers with the increase that they had on that, so I went through all of the WCIA insurance,
So you got it as actuals of what
Right.
you're anticipating.
yes.
Okay.
The solid waste, since we're already over the 8,500 now that we allocated it. But it is about 9,000 just to cover.
I'd make it 95.
I think 95, what is the solid waste?
We're not making any off of, we made like 46 cents the last 2 months off our recyclables. There was a rate increase, a surcharge for fuel.
Okay.
So I'm not gonna see him not, because they can have that surcharge anytime.
Right,
Well, is that garbage service? Is that what
Yeah.
you're telling me? Okay.
our electricity, that we really only paid $1,600 for the year in electricity at City Hall.
Wow.
I was gonna say that, that's pretty impressive.
I know.
If that, can we switch?
No, I'd say there's a barcode problem there.
Okay.
Is that maybe allocated between departments?
No,
And that's why you're only.
Um,
a certain amount is there.
yeah,
because I get separate bills for
everything, so we
for
need to figure out
everything.
where it's going. So,
and some of these. I didn't know if it was old city hall, new city hall, because Diana just said it's. Either should say old or new, and I haven't found old or new.
right, well, as far as Old City Hall. They're literally, I mean, they've shut I don't even think the electricity is on, there's just nothing's on
It's
down
on, yeah.
But as far as like the current expense, everything is pertaining to this here. None of it pertains to Old City Hall. So does that help?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't help me. Where's the bill?
For the electricity?
Yeah, at the old building. Cause they make you pay to keep the lights on.
Right. And I don't know, so we
I
would
don't know,
have
when
to
you went
go
over there,
in,
did you guys use lights?
well, you had to. But
Okay.
not that they illuminated anything, and I pretty much needed my phone to see and use the flashlight on it. But.
I haven't seen anything on the city hall,
on
the
the
old
one.
city hall. From Benton
Okay, well,
PUD.
we've gotta be getting a bill from something. I mean, not that there's not a lot on over there.
I think they
And-
turned the water off.
They turned the
over
water
there.
off, but the electricity, I'm not sure what.
Yeah, but it's still working.
Yeah, it's still
Yeah.
working.
And see, I could grab a bill for you, like they do it all electronically. Everything's
So we
done
need to figure
electronically,
out
so I
how
have to go
much.
sign in and,
Look and see if it says a specific address for service,
Mhm.
right,
a billing address and then a service address. Yeah,
yeah, and then all the streetlights,
those two.
all the streetlights have a separate billing.
Each individual streetlight has its own bill?
Every streetlight has a bill.
Most of them they charge flat
And
rate.
it's like, it's
There's no
like,
meter.
yeah, well, they've called that, like they called the other day because some meter was off, reading was off and wanted to know who was gonna fix it for us.
Them, I don't.
Call Jose.
I think we're pretty close on the water sewer for City Hall. The repairs, maintenance by others, I think it's over, but I think that should have probably went into Old City Hall of the 5,000. Cause we really and truly haven't done anything in this building, so I think that all needed to go into Old City Hall.
Actually, that was for this building, actually, wasn't it? When we had the sewer problem?
I think so, yeah.
Last year, when did we have the sewer problems? This
That
year?
is the year
Year
before.
before.
But this is for
This is
2023.
Yeah,
actuals.
24.
My guess is that
Oh, we just.
we
got
paid it at the end
Well, that
or the
could
beginning of
be.
the year, because it was around. Wasn't it around Thanksgiving, Christmas last year?
It might have been, I can't remember for sure. But I know that the sewer backed up and we had to fix the drains and change a bunch of
Okay,
stuff.
that didn't happen with us being.
No,
here.
it didn't. So, okay. So what, yeah, I
That
would,
must
I
have been
would
the year
remember
before.
that.
I would just leave it alone. It was an anomaly and
Okay,
it's
so
paid
just leave
for.
it at 1,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
We shouldn't have anything like that again.
Yeah. So our metered copies, I would, that's basically our copier, literally goes by what we're doing. I think we should probably kick that up to 5,000 to be. Just to
Yeah.
cover,
Right.
and hopefully we don't. Over that. We need some input on the city website development and maintenance. Wendy pretty well got it all developed, if there's something I don't understand or how to take care of it, I call her, but. I don't know if you want that to stay at the 5,500, that's what she, I believe, about what she charged to. Or the,
To get us lined out.
yeah,
Are you guys planning on moving forward with continuing what she started, or
we are.
you are?
Well,
That,
we have her do surveys and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, there's different things that he does.
He
on
does
it, but
quickly
I don't know
and-
if you,
Yeah.
No, I don't know. You want to just leave it at the 5,500 or
so that was for her contract, the 5,500.
what was her contract?
I think
for?
it's hourly.
She charges hourly now, once she did the initial cleanup and whatnot. of
I
the
can't remember
website.
back that far what that contract value was.
I can't even, but I
But-
think it was around 5,000, I think, but I'm not sure. without going back and looking. Finding out
Well,
and looking.
Yeah,
That makes a difference on how I view this, right? Because you obviously have to pay for the website, I'm assuming. There's a cost to that too, right?
There is, and I think we've got that all pulled into the IT part of it, IT parts, whatever that was.
The software licenses.
Yes. Because you have so much that you have to pay. Whatever they are.
I don't remember hers being, I thought it was like the 2,000 mark for her.
It might have been, and I don't know, I don't have my computer in front of me to see
That's
see
okay.
what it was.
I know
Okay.
she had to go through everything and
Right,
reset
but
it
do you
all.
remember what that contract was for?
No,
And see, that
I
would be
remember
my
the hour.
concern, is that some of this money has actually been the site payment. To have the website.
I don't think so. No. Because it comes that, I don't, sorry, do you have, when you get the credit card bill? Or whatever, do you have anything for,
I have the Adobe. I've had
Software.
Microsoft
that's software?
360. There's one other one. If those are monthly charges, the Zoom, they're all monthly charges on our credit card.
Right. And so I'm not sure,
I haven't seen anything through their website,
um,
and she hasn't been giving us a monthly bill, so.
I thought we
No.
paid her at a,
we did, and then she charges it when there is things that she puts on the website, and on the most part, I put it on. And if I have a question, if I don't know how to do something.
that's what I'm saying. So
because-
it sounds like more or less you're starting to take over what she got going.
Yeah. As
Okay.
soon as she had it on there, then I took over, and it's like. She had to explain a few things.
Yeah,
It didn't
okay.
make any sense, but
Did a
anyway,
park survey go in there?
it did
a
go
recent?
on there. I put it on there, yes. So,
I think she worked on the survey for the summer program.
Right.
I think she posted that.
Just what. As far as what her work is, I don't
Well,
know that.
I'm just concerned about what the dollars are and.
Do we remember when that was?
When she did that,
Yeah,
it was about 3 months ago,
Mhm.
so that would be August.
probably about there, August, September.
Well, let's come back to that one, but, if it is all her money, we can probably downsize that. And leave yourself about $1,000 in there,
I agree.
cause you'll need it for those emergency stuffs. And if you could dig through and find that.
Okay. So, and we have the IT support, IT upgrades for licensings and whatnot, so. We've just gotta reallocate the IT support between the three. Water, sewer, and general. So the grant writer, is her contract up this year?
I think it renews every year. I don't think it's a multiple year thing.
Okay,
Cause we paid her the 20, I just last week sent her last check.
so do we just leave it at the 20,000 and,
Well, it's kind of like we pay a share of her, we pay 1/4 of her salary, basically.
Yeah, it stays pretty much the same.
Yeah. I assume for now, just keep it where it's at.
okay.
And the Benton County contract, I haven't seen anything that it's gone up, so that's
For the sheriff,
gonna be another 34 next month. It's a monthly charge.
Yeah,
yeah, so I think the 415, and I think we figured that on with a slight increase or something, right?
Right.
Okay. Um. So emergency management membership, I mean, it is what it is, it's gone up, so I'd say kick that up to 3,700.
Okay.
The fire inspections, we've got it at 4,750 with an actual of 150, so.
That's because we were going through the city fees change, and so they weren't being charged until we fix that, so that should be back up to track next
Okay,
year.
so we should be good at the 4,750.
Mhm.
Okay.
We didn't put anything in there for supplies, because she's basically with us.
yeah, it's fine.
For the memberships, there's 2 memberships that belong to the Waste and the Wabo, so I mean, that's
So what-
$120.
Right, so is that just for one of them or?
No, that's for both. Yeah,
So it's 120?
which,
They put it at, let's put it at 150,
Yeah.
just in case they go up on you.
but then this year has been
April.
paid for,
Right.
because I have the memberships.
Um,
We're gonna leave her uniforms where they're at because she has it.
Right, your training. Seminars and whatnot, I think we
I
probably need
think
to
probably
kick
raise
it
it to 25.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you're probably in good shape there.
leave it at the 2,000.
Yeah, cause
Okay.
is she, would you go to 2 this year or something?
Yeah, I go to 2.
Yeah,
The only ones that it puts it really tight as if I wanted to attend like one of the, like a webinar one, and they cost what, like $45 or, you know. But I mean, actually the 2,000 should be fine. What's the postage?
Okay,
A
so all the
percentage.
postage has to have a percentage through.
Oh,
each
out
de-
of, okay,
Out of each
Okay.
department. It's actually gonna be higher than what's on here.
Okay,
because we used a little bit more because we did some mail outs and we figured. I figured it was like $1,000 a month because I don't get anything. They just punch in the code.
Mhm.
So now I'm keeping track of it. So it's $1,000 a month. That's what Maribel was giving me. And then we used another 8 to do that mail out last week
For the parks.
For this survey.
for,
RCO grant, maintenance grant.
mhm.
yeah.
But it's also something, you know, that had to be done, so. to be
Yeah.
In compliance with all this stuff, so.
So you want to change that? If
I
it's,
don't think so. I think it'll stay, I mean, we have that. Future mailing Friday or Thursday, but that's not something that. You know, once it's done, it's done. We're.
yeah, I thought she just said it was $1,000 a month.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we're gonna have, that's just to do your bit, that's just to mail out the water and sewer bills.
Right.
That's not for anything extra.
So is there money under those other codes to make
Yes.
up the
Yeah.
12,000?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, it's all broken down in percentages.
And because I've been on everybody too, watch your budget. What do you have in your budget to do stuff? I really do think we need to put a kicker training up to like 2250. Just so that the webinars and whatnot. She can attend to get it.
And is
Okay.
that covering lodging too, or?
No,
No.
comes out of a different location.
I'm good with bumping it up.
Okay.
I have the information we were looking for.
Okay.
It was 2,500
Okay.
for subsections 1 through 28, and then $23 per hour for sections I, B, I, C, and I, D. Or that's probably 1B, 1C, and 1D. Roman numerals. And that was back in April. Okay. When that took place.
Well, you really had to go back then.
Well, I remembered when she asked me for the picture, and so then I went back there, and I just went back a couple from there. So. That's 2,500, and it's put down as 5,500.
Right, and
And then-
yeah, and I think it's.
I think to 1,000 is good since you've kind of got it whelmed in if you need a little bit of assistance. We're not talking a whole new
Yeah.
Right.
setup, so
Right,
I think we're good with that.
so that was the city website development and maintenance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, we've got 2 solid wastes here. So we probably could just take this one out. Well, one's all of our garbage. And then this is the contract, and I haven't seen a contract yet from the attorney on the garbage.
Sure where that's at.
Or
I thought we did that one. We just passed that garbage contract, I thought,
Uh-oh.
last few months ago. I mean, last few meetings.
I asked you about it, but I haven't seen anything from the attorneys. They said they were reviewing it.
Yeah. There's a whole lot of reading going on.
I'm just gonna write review next to it.
So then we're to the I-82 planning. I'm not sure what, and we got 20,000 allocated in there.
Well, that 20,000 came out of the 40 that Port of Kennewick gave it, is
Okay.
paying us for, so we need to bill them back for that.
Okay.
We need to build them back for how much?
Whatever you've spent so far, and I think it was 20,000, something like that.
Build.
This Michael Mahaffey's doing several documents and some training. He just did the training, or is He did the training at the last plan.
That was going on
Planning.
22, okay.
He's not doing it. He did it last month, right?
Right.
Yeah, okay.
That's Porter County.
Okay, thank you. We're gonna leave it at 20.
Well, we got 20 more that they can budget from that. I don't know what the clean air assessment is.
The what?
Clean air assessment. I have no idea what that is.
No, that's
Clean Air Authority.
Clean Air
Yeah,
Authority.
Benton County Clean Air.
Does every city pay into that then?
I thought we
Sure.
did Elvis.
I'm guessing.
It's not
I think we're
a-
forced to. But
It's not the same about it. Oh. We did go out over. I didn't print a new.
Hmm,
Okay,
I didn't print a
well,
new,
do you
but
want
I
to
did
leave it at
figure it out.
3,000 or it's over? I don't know what.
On this,
Mhm. Not on this one.
right,
I did it afterwards.
you
so
can take it
that
down
means that we
1,000.
don't have
Take
what
it down
we
a
did.
1,000.
Do we have numbers on that or no?
I can go get it.
Right, I'll look.
Okay, thank you. Just gonna go get the numbers on the code. Because I didn't update them. I did update them, but I didn't print a new page.
Oh. So for the, like, animal control, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah,
Okay, gonna say, yeah, she asked for, funds for the equipment and stuff like that. We also, so for every dog that she, takes to the county. To, to get them out of here, we get charged for that. And we are making a new section for that.
Yeah, 'cause it's
so
not-
animal transfers.
Yeah, it's not, yes, we need a bucket list for animal transfers.
And we figured 4,000 for that, because I mean, what do you get charged for?
So right now we've transferred 20 animals over to Benton County. Benton County charges $100. We're looking at renewing our contract this year as well, and they may not renew the contract. So I have sought out the Humane Society. They sent me over something that they have with Prosper's Animal Control, but I'm negotiating with that because it's $250 a dog. And right, and so that's not okay. We wouldn't be able to do that, but we only have 4 kennels. Like in the last 2 months, I caught 33 dogs. You know what I mean? So that's a lot of dogs and we have to be able to move them out. And our adoption fee is $20 and they go out unaltered and unvaccinated, which I'm not a fan of, and nobody else in the animal welfare business is. So I would prefer to transfer to an agency that actually completes that process until Benton City can complete it ourselves. Then that is the outlet, is transferring. I
Is
can start working with rescues, which I mean, I know a lot of rescues, but that's also time consuming. You know what I mean?
And they're full.
And they're all full.
But I even have partnerships with ones over on the west side. So I mean, but
okay.
that's the thing, is that's a lot of networking and it's time consuming to do that, So the easiest, fastest move for Benton City to move animals to be safe is transferring to one of these agencies.
And you need that under which line item?
We're gonna have to
we're gonna have to add that part.
add it.
Okay.
Would you have?
I just had animal transfers, yeah,
That's what I
So.
thought.
yeah, 4,000. 4,000 is what we had said. I mean,
Yeah.
that's,
That's. Because you. had to figure it
that's an anticipation. We can get Humane Society down a little bit.
What did you have the 1,000 on?
The 1,000.
Board and
Mm.
care. Is that where you're looking at?
So, yeah, and then
Euthanasia,
euthanasia.
yeah, cause we. It happens.
But that's why like the actual is showing 500, we didn't euthanize anything this year. So that's kind of where I think that we need that bucket list showing where transfers come from. To make sure that that's accurate.
So I'm looking up it where it says youth/med. And then euthanasia. Is that what's the?
Well, and
Is it
that's
the same?
that's where you would perform, which I am certified to euthanize. I mean, so that's something that Benton City can look at in the future. You know, it's just holding your own controlled substances, which I'm super familiar with, and recording them.
Mhm.
that's that bucket.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah, that's if we were performing
the
our own.
medications. Okay.
Yeah. Because otherwise, that's why we kind of up to the euthanasia. If we hit a vet for a euthanasia, you know, that it's gonna be $200 at the least. Right off the bat, which really,
it's like-
we've only euthanized one dog here. It's when I first started, took it to pet emergency.
But I mean, if they get hit, which
Mhm.
happens, I
Right.
mean, you sure as heck can't leave them suffering.
No, I know. No.
Right, right, and that's just, you know, that's something that we put $1,000 in, you know.
Just,
That's
when
why I'm like,
he's
why
in-
don't we just start our own rescue? No, I'm kidding. I know there's.
Well, I mean, there's lots of things
But I
that we
mean-
could be more self-sufficient on animal control, and it's a future thing, you know,
Mhm. More
and
kennels.
more people.
Yeah. Yeah, literally, it's like,
Yeah.
because if she has a dangerous dog or something in there,
Mhm.
you know, I mean, you have to keep them like separated from
Yeah.
anything else, and there was I don't know, about a month ago, it was like that, and it was like,
Mhm.
you hoped it didn't get out, you know.
Why didn't you go
Right.
down
No, I know.
what we've
I had
changed
one.
to? And they can know what your numbers are, what we looked at, discussed.
Okay. Well, and it's another thing, like, euthanasia is not the right bucket list, but I know, like, I struggle with it. If I've complied somebody with, medical, they need to go see a vet for the condition of their dog. And then, let's say I pick up the dog. Now, that's awkward because we should provide that medical care that I'm telling them that they need to go do. Otherwise, I feel like we're out of compliance, so I don't know, you know what I mean? If that $1,000 can cover something to that, it does make it awkward, just.
And then they would have to, if they wanted their
They have
dog back,
to,
they'd
they have to pay it back,
back.
that's right, they would,
okay.
it would get reimbursed.
'Cause I don't
through
want
them,
people to
or
be
else they
like,
would not
"Oh,
get-
if I let my dog get picked up, then the city will take care of
But
it.
they wouldn't get
and-
their dog back either,
Yeah.
unless they paid.
And that's just dogs. What about other animals? Do you have such things set up for other animals?
We
that
have
might
4
be-
kennels for 4 dogs.
Okay, but do you ever have to pick up any other animals or?
I usually find the home,
Okay,
that is the goal with that.
okay,
Otherwise, we
Could-
don't have facilities that will do that.
okay, because I know,
I handle that.
so the reason I'm asking is because I know people have dumped horses as of recently. And so,
So I network with
You-
other rescues. There's actually a horse rescue on the outside of town.
wait, Sugar Shack. And I was
Mhm.
gonna ask if you knew about that.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So I know those guys. So I do have a lot of networking in order to move animals like that to someplace safe,
Okay,
you know, until we figure out what's going on.
all right, that's what I was wondering.
Yeah,
Yeah, because I've done marketing for Susie.
yeah, they're nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see what we came up with the other day. We've got animal control supplies.
Animal control supplies, we raised it.
We did, raise it to 1,000.
And we raised it because Jen shouldn't be personally buying stuff. for the
Correct.
animals.
What are we buying?
So what's coming out of that is, bleach, mops, stuff like that. Food,
Blankets.
blankets. I do try to get people to donate in, and Benton County does help us quite a bit because they get massive amounts of donations, so that's a high, one, and then, well, then supplies would also be, I would like a set of muzzles, which would be nice when dealing, you know what I mean? Just kind of stuff we don't have
Mhm.
to get it. And then that would basically, that's gonna last for several years once we do get it. But a whole set of muzzles for every size is gonna be about $300 to $400. A new catch pole, stuff, some kennels some smaller kennels that are good. So, because I bring mine from home, which is fine, but it would be nice if Benton City had theirs. as well.
I'm good with that. I think that's
Mhm.
reasonable.
And then the only other one we had was, the kennel improvements.
Right. What you're just talking about.
And that's, yeah, that's kind of the same thing. I mean, this is like, there's, when the fence went up, it doesn't connect to the ground, there's gaps, you know, that's just, so you can't let little dogs out there to just run around, because they'll get out, the big dogs will push through some of the fence underneath. It'd be nice just to get it repaired. They're pulling up the linoleum that's in the sections, you know, of the cages, so I don't anticipate that to be a whole bunch of money, but once it got fixed, it would be fixed, and then there would be maintenance on it.
So what did we put that?
We
at?
put 1,500 on that.
Wait, which one was that?
That's
Kennel
The
improvement.
kennel
Yeah,
improvements,
kennel
because it's
improvements.
500.
She's saying they moved it
Yeah,
up to
just the
1,500.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, cause Jen does a lot of her own
Right.
stuff.
Jen, has there been any in the history of donations from organizations or anything to the animal control? Or food or anything?
Well, that's a lot of times how we get our food and our blankets. So Pet Overpopulation, they donate a lot. We have some personal people that do donate in, you know, so. Which could go a lot further if we advertise that. I feel like Benton City's not really super, we have the 4 kennels, you know what I mean? And people are donating in. They do, especially, you know, if you've helped them already, but to do big pushes, we have no place to store stuff.
I was
I mean,
gonna
I've worked
say
with big
that would be
facilities
good.
where stuff comes in and you have to have a place to store it. And you have to have animals to move it on, or else it's just going to go bad. You know, so right now, the way we're set up is kind of maintained at a level that we can handle.
So I have a question. When people's animals get out and you're wrangling them, like the steers and stuff, when we get back in,
Mhm.
do those people have to pay any fees or anything?
I haven't charged anybody, honestly, but,
Because if we, I mean,
Mhm.
how many times have you been out?
Right,
I mean, the 3 that I was on with you, but if they paid fees, then that money could be used to help facilitate.
and that's what the
Yes.
boarding, like when people redeem their dogs, they get charged.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? They get a redemption fee, they get daily boarding fees, they get stuff like that. I haven't on livestock, I haven't.
But you
That
haven't
guy is
had
the
to
first guy.
necessarily board livestock.
No,
find
but
it
I
all.
could probably give him a violation ticket, you know
Right.
what I mean,
Mhm.
and a penalty or whatever.
That
For,
could help
I've
them.
got a question from the audience.
The license fees in our neighboring communities are a lot higher than ours are for dogs. So it's something that might be considered, raising our license fees to help offset some of this expense.
and some of the cities are getting rid of their licensing fees.
Pasco's 55 unaltered,
Mhm.
15, and the other communities are very,
And Kennewick
similar.
doesn't license at all,
right,
so.
right.
I mean, it's all kind of a hit and miss with that, and I think really honestly, like the whole renewal and the notices and stuff really will help. People license their dogs, you know, because it is quite a revenue, it is. It is.
What are we charging for a license fee?
It's $30 for, we call it gendered, so the unaltered animals are $30. $10 for an altered animal, $10 for a late fee.
We need $5 for senior dogs.
Well, yeah, because it's $1. Yeah, or at least change it up to where they have gendered and not gendered.
No, I meant the
because-
dog's a senior,
Yeah,
not me. My dog's a senior.
well, yeah, I mean,
I have his birth certificate. He's registered, so.
well, that's why I was like, that's why I had asked about Issy, because I licensed her at the last minute, and then she passed 2 weeks later, and I was like, and then I had to pay for
They're
Dallas.
non-transferable.
Cause.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I know.
You're helping her take care of the
Take care of the kennel.
The cows are, yeah.
Yeah.
That knock on wood have not been out.
Yeah, but they're not my cows. They didn't even fertilize my yard.
Did we get everything?
I'm just curious, like, for the time factor, since we've probably got about 40 pages left and I see we're approaching 7:30. Is there a way that we can just like, maybe if there's something on a page that stands out that we'd like to take a look at, could we, I mean, I'm not trying to rush because I know it's very important, but I'm just really concerned with our time frame right now. How late?
Okay. So we'll start on the page we're on, 3,500 for tourism merchandising that evidently wasn't used. What's our intent there?
I think, don't we get a cut back from, that should be a revenue.
This is an expenditure.
No, it's
This is
expenditure.
expenditure.
And it's like, to me, tourism, the merchandising cost, that's
Strike it,
a chamber
make it 0.
deal.
Yeah, I'm good with,
Yeah, because we should get some money back from the chamber from the Uranus monument. I know that some of it goes to revitalization.
I know why we have our expenditures up on building inspections. But to make this a balanced budget, we need to change that. Bring it down to 90,
Which one is that?
building inspections contracted. We didn't even touch that. We'll go over next year, I'm sure, but I'd rather have. We'll probably go over in permitting, so we'll probably go over in inspections next year, but let's bring it down so we can balance out the budget.
then engineering, do we want to take a look at that before we?
Well, I guess I need, yeah. I need to figure out what we got here. We got planning general wages.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering about.
So
And then we got another planning salary wages.
I would go with,
I just want to make sure what's going on here and
We have a lot of duplicate
There
things that were
was-
put in here.
when it was initially under this, and then with that payroll change thing on our deal, and we had other things added in, and it ended up with another category here, which really screwed us all up, because then it's like you can't get rid of it. But, so we're going with this here, because
Okay.
all of my taxes, everything got changed. and-
fair.
Anyway, so that's.
So the planning general wages. Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, but then it's down lower for planner salary wages.
Okay,
Because there's. a
All right.
huge-
So we're going with one at the bottom.
Well, I need to make sure it goes in, it probably has to be under general wages, sure, because of the. So it doesn't screw up with my taxes and all that other crap, and if we can like shut it off, I would be happy.
I would like to shut up all these zeros and all these things that we don't use that they put in here that have never been used.
I know,
So
so.
we'll jump down to engineering. Hi, Alan.
Hey,
So I'm assuming a bunch of this that we're seeing this cost was covered underneath. Not only some of our grants, but some of our ARPA stuff. Is that correct?
I'm thinking so, but I was kind of trying to look through the other budgets. But some of that might have just got stuck here, I'm not sure. Through the whole year.
Probably.
Where it all went to, because we do have task orders and stuff,
Right.
Yeah, I think we have some of this stuff we can bill out.
so it probably can be reallocated to a different line item.
It probably needs to be allocated to the specific project line.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm guessing.
So I'm assuming that's not quite where we're at for a number. I understand that's the overall number, but I mean,
Right.
it should be
It
another
needs to
pot.
be-
Yeah,
Yeah,
Okay.
it should be another pot. There is, I know, like with blacktop, the states, so the one that's being worked on right now.
Mhm.
Sherry is going back, like at least the last year, because they had used Spink Engineering to do a bunch of their engineering work, which, you know, was
Well, it's plan review.
plan reviews and whatnot, which didn't get billed back to them. Well, they're being billed back.
Okay,
So we've already paid those costs to Spink Engineering. But now we're going after them to reimburse us for the.
Why-
For River North as well.
I can see in the overall budget, there's, would look good, but I
Right,
just
it
want to
needs
make
to be
sure.
allocated to the
Okay.
right spots.
And I'll sit down with Sherry, I'll bring up all our billing and our totals, and we can go through and figure out what project and what line item.
They can go back 3 years on this too.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I'm probably going to, so yeah, that would be great, that would help me.
Cause if that's your cost, I'm bringing him on salary.
Yeah.
Take Nathan from. Nathan's going, yeah.
Yeah, no.
That'd be a pretty sweet deal, you guys.
Oh, so it is an option.
All right.
There's a chance.
We don't have a planning service contract anymore, correct?
That's what I was thinking.
All right, George, you
Chris.
better speak up.
Speak, as you can see there, it was 50,000 before. I'm requesting an amount between 7,500 and 10 as kind of an on-call. In case we get a lot of projects in, I'm gonna be working on the comprehensive plan quite a bit next.
10,000 it is.
Okay, thank you. One other item while we're in there, I'm planning economic development.
Uh-huh.
And the south area plan is partially gonna be marketed through their $40,000 grant. But we need to have like a brochure or something from the city that advertises that property.
Okay,
Because we're gonna be looking at a contract with DNR to sell and market that. So it'd be nice to have some marketing piece.
okay, so what are you thinking?
20,000.
That's a
25?
big brochure.
That's so.
Well, if you're gonna print up 500 or a couple hundred, those glossy ones, those are kind of spendy. And the shelf life would be good for a couple of years, so it would be like a one-time thing. 15, I'm not, I'm just,
I think you're pretty
Come up
close
with a
on the
number.
20,000, to be honest. I mean, I know it's super expensive to get those. Put together, and especially a little bit nicer looking, right? We want to showcase that this is
Right.
beautiful and amazing and not just on plain white paper and folded in a trifold and.
Right.
Also,
Oh, no.
design.
Mhm.
Yeah,
when that property comes online to sell, we're gonna be getting property taxes and stuff, so it'll be,
I think we'll make
Multiply
our money back
big
on it.
time.
Yeah.
right?
Come on, David. He
Okay,
doesn't have to spend all 20,000. It's
You're
just in
right.
there.
fine.
Placeholder.
And we did drop him down to 10 from 50, so we took 40, we gave him 20 back. That work.
God, you're killing me.
We gotta look good.
Can I confirm what line that is? Is that the,
I think we need to add
because I see planning on economic development, but under that
It's
says
personnel
personnel benefit.
benefit, so I think we need to add a line item for that.
Well,
Yeah,
I
I
think
saw that
that,
too, I was like, what the heck?
What
Yeah.
about reports presentations? For planning? Would that qualify?
Presentation.
Probably.
Presentation, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah.
asking if that would qualify.
I think
there.
it
I would-
would.
Yeah.
You don't have to create a new line.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Planning commission.
Mm,
So there's 4,500 under planning commission, but there was no actual.
good
They,
point.
when it started, well, they've just had a meeting. I mean, the last meeting before this one, like about a week ago, was back in April.
Yeah.
Okay,
So, and they didn't have it set up where they were getting wages, so it just, at that point. So that just started where they would be paid.
Mhm.
We have some that, Lynn was one of them,
hmm
that they refused to be paid. They said, no, I don't want to be paid for my services.
It was
So-
$75 a meeting.
Like,
Yeah.
so is what it
Okay.
is. So I've had some that said, no, I don't want to be paid for it. And which was probably 3 of them. But it just started. So at
Okay.
this point, it was 0 because they just started having meetings again.
okay,
And we will be having meetings every month moving forward.
okay.
Okay. Good with everything there.
Does that confuse things when they don't take their pay? No, okay. Just
No.
curious.
No, that's fine. I do think in the summer program thing, sure, I'm not sure what happened to the 5,000 and the 1,000 with the no child left behind supplies and instructor contracts. We kind of need to leave that in. We were going to roll it all into just the summer youth activity program costs.
Right.
So I'm not sure where that 6,000 went, because this is not just a summer thing, it's morphed into a year round.
thing.
So we need to.
Are you
have
pulling
that.
any, you're not pulling any wages out of that, that's the one above it, right?
Right, yeah, no, wages is up above, and this is just the cost.
So we're gonna move everything into summer youth activity program cost. We want to take summer out year round.
Yeah,
I think we should call it community programs.
Community program.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just. Cause it's benefiting everybody,
Mhm.
there's, you know,
Well, so those line items that you're seeing there were related to a grant we received for kayaks and
Mhm.
Then we had to go
instructor.
back.
Yeah, and so those actually just go away now because we're not utilizing them.
then I would say that, which is fine, so we have 0 there, but I think that the
I'll just roll it all.
The activity program cost, I think it needs to be up because.
Well, that's what I'm saying, that
Roll it all into the grant.
that cost that, if I remember correctly,
It's
comes
done.
from that grant.
Yeah,
So what the council has approved is the instructor cost
Okay,
for the program, which is that
It's already-
5447 that you have.
that was for the guy that runs it,
Yeah,
Right.
salary,
right.
but
And that came out of the council's general fund, but we have never allocated an actual dollar figure towards the program itself, because most of it was covered under a grant.
all right, so
so we need that money
So-
for
we do.
lecture
because
fees and whatnot.
So the programs that go on, he was paying for a lot of the stuff right out of his pocket.
Sure, well, we need to come up with a better cost idea on that and
Right.
put something together, and you can call it community activities, whatever,
Okay.
but. These 3 line items just need to go away,
Okay, so they just need to be 0, and we need to come up with a,
because they're all related to a grant.
okay.
The supplies and the instructor contracts?
Yeah,
Okay,
those 3 line items are related to that grant and need to go away because that grant's
Okay.
gone, and. I shouldn't say go away because you can't delete them, but you know,
Right.
they just
They
need
just,
to
at
not,
this point, be 0.
yep, they need to not show up again.
And we need to
Start it.
just create a new one for,
If we're gonna
Okay.
allocate some funds towards that, we can do that, but we also need to figure out a generalized cost. We can't. I know how the program's been running so far, but if you're gonna continue the program, which I think the council is gonna continue the program, there needs to be a line item with some funding.
Right, well, and I agree, and that's what we're trying to do here. So, I don't know, Sherry, what kind of things have you been getting from Kyle?
So we spent 8,000 last year. So I would say between 8 and 10 is,
Is that including his wages or?
No,
Oh, okay.
Well, the 8,000 is.
He's been buying snacks, he's bought stuff to make dinners, hot dogs, chips.
Well, we need to have a good dollar set from him. What is anticipation?
Okay.
Which is the anticipated.
That's are, and he needs to bring that before council. And we need to approve it as a function of that program.
Yeah, he's one we didn't talk to.
And as I said, I know in the past that program's been operating on a shoestring, and I get it. Because, well, quite frankly, early on, it was only gonna be the paddleboard, wakeboard stuff,
Right.
and then it morphed into this other piece.
Okay, we're gonna change it to community
programs.
program.
Community program costs.
Okay. Cost.
Costs, supplies, whatever you wanna call
Supply.
it.
Yeah, and I can just put it in there as, cause he buys stuff to eat, for him to eat, and I don't know.
Well,
Maybe they're having cooking classes.
bingo prizes. I don't
Yeah.
know.
so
I think the plan is when we have these science and whatever lecture series, that we would have some food there. So that they're not worried about running home to eat,
Yeah.
so
okay,
they could.
so I'm going cautious on this tail, right? So this is for everybody to pay attention to. If it's prepackaged stuff, we're good.
Yeah,
If it's not.
But if he's actually cooking hot dogs and such, he needs to have a freaking health.
health.
Oh,
card.
Food,
He
food
needs to
handler's card.
Make all that stuff,
Yeah.
and we need to check with our insurance if that's even a viable option for us to back that.
okay.
Cause it does look homemade when I've seen pictures, a lot of it does look.
It does, and
Yeah.
it's like.
And I'm not against it, don't get me wrong, I'm looking at the liability to the city.
Mm-hmm.
That's
I
true.
agree.
Yeah,
No, that's good.
What if it's advertised as like a potluck? And I wonder if that would protect the city.
Hmm,
I would check with your insurance.
yeah,
Yeah, I
There's
think
also
what,
food allergies.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, cause I noticed that they put some, he had something that when he gave to me, it said if you have peanut allergies, there's peanut stuff and.
but you still, I mean, you still are under the guidelines of the health district,
yep,
and if they come out and check and we don't have health cards, we don't have this, we
I
don't
mean-
have that. We're gonna be.
Those
on
are
the hook
easy
for
enough
it.
to
Yeah.
get.
We're gonna
That-
be-
yeah.
it might be.
Do you have the people that are volunteering their time to do this, do they have them? I'm not policing them.
And I get it that we all grew up in an environment that you didn't have to worry about these things.
Right.
Unfortunately with today, and especially with the city as a entity,
You have.
we can't take the risk on this. So if he wants to hand out fruit snacks and juice boxes, great, but if he wants to cook hot dogs,
I
needs
don't
to make
think,
sure he's
I don't
covered.
think we can. The only way would be if we had it catered, and that would cost a lot.
That would be too much.
well,
Yeah.
it
So
sounds
that's
like he's
what
already
we're-
doing that though, and
Is he?
that's a concern.
Yeah,
Okay.
So.
Can't even sell shaved ice without having a health card on premises and an inspection.
On the library, the water softener system, they would like a water softener. Because
So-
something about the hard water is destroying the floor or something.
Well, it destroys a whole lot of things. It
Mhm.
destroys the floors, it destroys the toilets, it destroys the sinks,
Benton City just needs a water softener.
it does, so
Mhm.
their
Well, that wouldn't help me.
maintenance is looking to.
Apparently not.
Or is requesting that we get a water softener for the library and for the community center
And the community center needs two.
too. Because it's
Two, one
two
is on the
different systems.
bathrooms and one is on the kitchen. So it would be two, a smaller unit and a larger one, but all those toilets, as you know, are etched out. They're
Yeah, he
just
put in
terrible.
there for that they needed to be replaced his request.
Yeah,
Did you get one of these?
yeah. Yeah, I saw that.
I think we, for longevity on just maintaining and keeping stuff running smoothly. I mean, I know what the hard water does to my appliances and everything in my home.
Yeah,
It destroys it fairly fast, between faucets and everything. So I think if we can figure out how to make it work, budget wise, I think it would be beneficial.
Yeah.
$1,000 seems like a very low price.
I was gonna say, I
yeah.
don't think they
That might
probably had that
replace it.
quoted out.
10,000.
Okay.
Okay.
Closer, I say, I paid a lot more stuff for mine.
Yeah,
So is it something you wanna lease or is it something you wanna buy with?
I'm not overly educated on those. Obviously you have one, so I don't know what is more beneficial.
I
Well,
have
it also
one.
depends on the maintenance. I mean,
Right.
that's the point really with leasing or buying, who's gonna maintain it, who's gonna make sure the salt is in
Right.
the equipment, and then if it does break down, who's qualified, so are you gonna pay the plumber to come out and do that? A lot of times if it's a lease, that includes your installation costs as well,
Right,
so, I mean,
and they come and check it.
yeah.
And
They
then
maintain it.
They
They
maintain it.
maintain it.
I,
so.
at this point, I think that probably would be a better route to go. Cause I don't think we need to stack more stuff on our limited maintenance guys.
Right, no, I totally agree. I think that would be an awful lot.
Okay, so we could probably just get a cost on it and then come back to that with it. I can do that tomorrow.
Yeah. Get a good figure on what it's gonna be.
What it would cost for the two facilities with three.
Okay.
Mhm.
And leasing them.
Okay.
I hate that, but
It's just like a copier. We lease it and they come and maintain it and they fix it and.
when you're like me. I try to never have anything that I have to reoccur payment on. I'm
Well-
frugal that way.
I understand that, but I think long-term, like I said, with the hard water, it eats through faucets, it eats through dishwashers, it eats through anything and everything eventually. And I think to try to save some cost on the other end of it, it would be beneficial to just put a water softener in.
The other thing that's needed down at, the community center, which isn't on here, is the stove. They purchased a stove that instead of two big ovens, it has two drawers. So nobody can cook anything in the oven.
Well, who approved the oven that didn't have oven? I mean, that's just
a guy
that's
ordered
just-
the oven. I'll just say that. I won't mention his name, but a guy ordered it.
Like I ordered it, it doesn't come obvious.
Well,
That's why we shouldn't let guys order ovens.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what we decided today.
There'll be a resolution next month.
So you need a new oven.
Yeah, we
Isn't
should
that
be
a
able to
glass
trade
top?
that one in on something or
So
surplus it. or
it
something.
wasn't originally a glass top. That's the original oven in there is a commercial grade oven.
Right,
It was a older model. Just because I don't think they could afford a new one to put in there at the time. But it was a full griddle top, I believe, with two burners
okay.
and then a full.
I think it had
commercial
4 or
size
5
oven.
burners. Yeah,
Did it?
So
Yeah,
do you want a commercial oven or do you want
I don't think
just
you
one
want
we
the
can?
cost of a commercial oven.
I understand that. I don't want to.
Spending.
I don't wanna know that cost, you're right, but
It's
again,
electric, not gas, right?
it was,
It's electric.
It's electric.
the old one was as well.
Would
Um,
glass top be a good idea? That's
No,
yeah, I
not
wouldn't
if-
think
not if
so
there's a
either.
price of
Too many
stuff.
risks.
so the oven that's currently there does not supply enough cooktop for what's. That.
And it doesn't even have, it has the burners, it doesn't have the.
It
what
doesn't
you're
have
saying,
the
it doesn't
ovens.
have the oven door to open up and put something in and cook it.
Well, it does, it's got convection ovens on it, is what it's got,
Oh, it has an oven?
yes. But the
Oh.
thing is. You're talking a space that had an oven that was this big
Right,
for handling community events. You no longer have that, you've got a house oven.
I don't think we even have the house oven. I think we have 2 drawers.
No, they're convection ovens. Shane was using them last time I was in there.
But they're just not as,
They're
high.
only this big,
yeah.
right? Cause they're convection spaces. Type of thing you would use for like a frozen pizza.
My convention oven's huge.
yeah, so. is
Like
mine.
I mean,
Yeah.
massive. So,
Well, again, it's not.
let's
So
just,
we could probably call like. Restaurant supply place, see if they have one that's refurbished,
We're probably gonna have to find a
or
refurbishment.
Fred, I
Good.
think Fred's over there sells commercial stuff, but they're
They're
gonna
so
spend.
expensive there.
Well,
Say
you'll,
that.
you'll have to get some
Electric
pricing on it.
ranges.
So let's go through your budget
There's
request real
there's
quick.
like a
Yeah,
cheap
Western Restaurant
one.
Supply. This is good.
Western,
Yeah. I
And
think
where
you
they
guys think it's
located?
west. They're in Pasco, I believe.
Okay.
And he probably has a good supply of.
So- Let's go through budget requests. So we already took care of the money for the thing, we call it. Stop water thing.
And I think that I need to mention that on here are some of the positions. We know we're gonna have to have somebody to help out Wade. And I really feel we need to plan for a foreman and some additional maintenance crew once that I-82 gets going. And even with 400 or whatever places going in right now, it's gonna be a stretch for what we have.
Well, that's fine, but we gotta figure out, and make sure our budget balances too.
Yeah,
I don't wanna be
I
taken out of the
understand.
general fund
Sharon,
overall, but. So
are you gonna be looking for the thing?
new snow plow, used snow plow, new spray tank.
Those are on, so.
What's your priority?
Well, I think me and Sherry, Carla had gone over the list, but they must have a old list because I typed out a new list for them and I did not have that on there. So I'm guessing you guys have an old list.
And let's find out. But it's gonna say this.
Is it in the budget? proposals? Yeah.
That's, no, it's okay because Jose's saying this is not right.
Okay, Jose.
He had quite a few things, but it depends on what you go.
He did sewer, water, parks. Oh, and streets. He did 4 of them.
No.
I mean, this is the same stuff that he has brought to our attention for as long as I've sat on city council. You know, having some backup fire hydrants or a replacement fund to where. So I mean, I think we definitely need to start looking at how we're equipping the maintenance workers and our workers with the stuff that they need to continue to keep up with the demand that the city's gonna bring with new housing and everything else, so.
Sewer.
I think it's something that we need to take seriously about how can we best get something put in plan for these guys and gals.
Well, this last year, they replaced like a lot of
Yes.
fire hydrants. There is still a lot more to replace. So they wanted to, Jose wants a budget item, literally for X amount of dollars to be able to start replacing these instead of it coming out of the blue going, oh, gee, guess what? I need to replace another fire hydrant.
And maybe having a couple on hand.
Right.
So if there is an issue with not
Yeah.
being able to get one,
Yeah, you might be able to put a top on hand, but you're not going to put the full hydrant on hand because each of them has a different throw,
Right,
distance, depth. So,
but at least if we have a line item for hydrants, so that we can start getting some of these old ones that need to be replaced or that are not working. At least we have it budgeted already, so that we're not going, okay, well, now we're making money to do this,
There is a line item, it's just nothing in.
right? Right.
yeah, because we do them as they
so
come.
how can we best get this lined out for them?
Too much here. Well,
No, but I do feel like it's important as we grow as a community is giving them the right equipment and tools to continue to try to keep up with us
Exactly.
as we grow.
He's suggesting here 35K.
For the fire hydrant replacement fund,
Mhm.
yes.
I guess I could jump in here is so the average cost of a hydrant about like $5,000 to $6,000, and we have currently one on hand. We used the other one that we had on hand. We replaced one on Bell Street. We just did that last week, so we're good to go there.
Okay. Bill, were you trying to add something?
He actually just answered it for me.
Okay.
There's 24 in the very first section, it's the last one in the first section.
Yeah, it's 24. Are you sure that isn't the hydrants that we rent out?
Just right
Yeah,
here.
it's a replacement fire
It's a
hydrant.
fire hydrant. There's
Got it.
nothing in it. It's like, the last 2 years of that.
So do you guys think that maybe putting 35,000 into that, are we able to do that? No?
I don't think so. And based on last year's expenditure, I wouldn't put more than 10,000 in it.
That would
'Cause-
only give them 2 hydrants, basically.
Yeah, but you gotta remember, this needs to balance out against that revenue stream on the top front half. And you put 35,000 in there, how are you making that up on the revenue? So, I mean, as it is now, looking at the changes that are already in play, we're probably just gonna have to keep the revenue side where it was and hope that all that comes through.
Right.
Just
It's-
to make this balance on this back end. And then looking at those capital pieces. There's a lot of money in that capital expenditure set. I mean, $900,000. I mean, we're gonna have to pick and choose.
What if we do 10 this year and then plan for the following year to up it? A little bit more.
I have a feeling we'll go over 2 hydrants in the next year. Just say, I mean,
Does this include new hydrants that will have to go in up in the new
No.
They
developments?
handle their own.
Okay,
They have to pay for those.
These are
Okay.
just
the
replacements.
contractors.
These are just replacements. But the,
Okay.
but the one thing is these new developments that are going in. That, there are fees. Set into the, permitting and
Mhm.
all the contracting and stuff. Where it should actually be allocated into, you know, taking care of the parks or. Like, it's like them paying the park fee. You know, the in lieu of putting a park in. So, you know, it's like you have these funds coming in and we don't know what's going to happen until they
Till they
get
do
through
it,
their
right.
planning and what they decide they're going to do. But if we have it being allocated back into, you know, the park services or street services or whatever, then, you know, we have that money coming in. And then,
And see, hydrant replacement, the reason it says it's 0 is because it's something that you shouldn't have to do.
Right, and that's what I was thinking. I mean. Quality, are they putting in good quality hydrants in the new developments? Is there, I mean, I've never bought a hydrant. So I know when I buy appliances, like I buy a low grade appliance. And well, I know when we move back
get
into
what
our
you pay
house.
for.
Yes, exactly. They put in, when we moved back into our house, all of our light bulbs started going out after a couple months.
Right.
And so they didn't put the high quality stuff in. So does it work the same way with fire hydrants? And do we have
Well,
recourse?
they have to be good ones, but
Well,
no, these are ones that are really old. Or we've literally replaced some that were not working,
Okay,
that were inoperable. And that's just not an option for the city to have
Right.
things that are inoperable like
Right.
that.
no, I get that, yeah.
I believe that fire hydrants have to be code compliant,
Mhm.
so I have to meet a certain underwriter's laboratory standard.
Okay,
and there's only like 3 manufacturers that make hydrants.
okay,
It's kind of a niche field.
So,
okay.
yeah, you can't say, oh, give me the cheaper one. So,
Right.
you know.
Well, and that's what I wouldn't want. But
Can I chime in real quick on a little info on the hydrant situation?
Go ahead.
So there's two things we look at. One is when they break. Normally speaking, those are the older Iowa hydrants and they don't have parts available for those anymore. So the whole hydrant has to be replaced. The other side of it is, I think we had 3, Carla, correct me, 3 of them last year that were broken from motor vehicle accidents. I know we discussed this before. Are we billing the accidentees back for those?
No,
We didn't have
We
3
should.
that were by accidents that I know of.
yeah.
They might have been, there was,
It would fall on the driver of the vehicle.
But wasn't there one right in front of the football stadium? Jane and 225 or Jane and help me out there, Jose. Was that last year or was that the year before?
I think that was the year before. There was a DUI accident on the one on Babs this year.
That's right. Are we actually
Babs or 413 Babs, something like that?
well, we can, so when that happens, we can file a claim with the prosecutor. To try to get,
Reparation.
mhm.
to get paid for it. Doesn't mean you'll get it. It's kind of one of those things of they're not gonna pay their fines.
The
But
insurance should cover it.
it kind of runs
If they
along
have
those
insurance.
lines.
But if it's an accident and they hit the fire hydrant, it's like a telephone pole, any of those things, their insurance should be paying it.
Their insurance should be
If
paying
they
it.
have
But
If
if we don't
If they
file
have
a claim
insurance.
for it, they're
But
not gonna get the money.
you have to know who their insurance is, you have to have their driver's license, you have to have, you know, so you have to do a records request and whatnot,
Okay.
and you literally end up filing it with the prosecutor for restitution for whatever you had to pay in regards to that. To get it fixed.
Worth a try to reclaim that types of money though, and that's something we should be
It
doing.
is.
And there's a line for that.
There is,
saw it.
it's rusted basically.
I saw it. I remember seeing it. It's like,
Okay, moving on, page 12. Um. Rural County Capital Funds, 9th Street, that was for the sidewalks, I take it.
I'll answer that question.
So,
I believe it is.
Right. It is, it's the RCCF funds from the county. But this is on the revenue side. Yeah, I don't know what that 295 total is.
Wasn't that the amount that we were refunded?
I believe so.
from
yeah, I think it
Shop?
was.
That's through the two, yeah.
295, yeah.
So I think that 103. That's the same. The same amount, that 103 is within that 295.
Yeah, that's what I would assume.
Yeah.
That we allocated the 103 for the sidewalk project. We got reimbursed the 295, but there was other expenditures, and that's something I
Right.
don't know where they went. Cause I believe there was some more TIB funding, wasn't there, or something like that line?
Well, on that project, so it wouldn't have shown up in the 2023. Wait. Yeah, because it was done in 2022. The actual expenditures were in 2022, but we just got reimbursed this
In
year.
2023.
Like a month
Yeah.
ago.
I was gonna say, we just talked about that.
Yeah.
So the TIB money we return.
The TIB money, yeah, I was gonna say we should remove that.
I wrote,
400. Okay.
yeah, I wrote return next turn.
And then I'd keep the line item.
Yeah,
Because we have an
I'll-
application in that we
Mhm.
should find out in 1st of December.
Okay.
If we got the money again.
Yeah, no, I'll keep the line items stay there.
Yeah.
No, you know, and I know that there's a few that are duplicates. But that's when they set this. Spring Brick set up the program. They were a lot of duplicates. And I don't know when they set up your program.
So, and I think the Port of Kennewick, we need to add in that 40,000 that they were putting into the I-82.
Okay. I can just relocate that.
No, the fuel in street maintenance, I mean, we're like 10,000, we only have 7,000 allocated. I know we need to bring that up, due to the fuel price.
Yeah,
Okay, put it at 11. Oh,
hope
do
the
we-
prices go down.
They are starting to go down.
Yeah, but the taxes will kick in, right?
Yeah. I'm kidding. I'm not sure why our street lighting maintenance is so high,
Because we pay for every street light.
this is maintenance, it's not electricity, it's just maintenance.
They had,
Oh, is that one that was not connected?
yeah, they had some repair.
That's correct. Those are repaired down, the commercial side of Dale, West Dale.
Okay,
That
okay,
extension, there was a connectivity issue with the streetlights. And, that was probably the spike that you see there.
Okay,
And that shouldn't be reoccurring, so that's
It-
fine.
yeah, okay.
Carla, I got a quick question
Okay.
on the electricity cost.
Mhm,
So the city owns the streetlights.
mhm.
Do we have LED lights or have we
Yes.
participated in that? Okay, good.
cut the bill significantly.
Right, and it's quite, I mean, we're at like 21,000 right now and we only had 11,000.
I guess the question to Jose right now is, with all the developments and the streetlights going in, have we made sure those were LEDs, or do we need to get ascertain if they are?
They are LED. I mean, we spec out a certain, light fixture, depending if it's commercial or residential area. So they are LED as new subdivisions are coming in. That's part of our requirement.
So we need to figure out, just for council's benefit, how many new streetlights went in the last 2 years? Cause I get a feeling that's where this increase is coming from. I know there's gotta be,
Yeah, we can get that.
yeah,
Real quick, yeah.
cause we put in some up there off of Dale, and then we got them off of
Mountain View.
View and
like that.
Top, and
Right, and so we're just gonna go up, so I would,
yeah, you're gonna have to adjust that too.
right, and I mean,
Based on where we're sitting currently, you probably go 24. I hope it doesn't go much higher.
well, is that going to cover all the new development that's going in?
Well, I'm hoping that won't be until a little while. We'll have to reassess it going on the next set, and what I need you to figure out, which would be a good number, is to figure out what our cost per light is. I don't know if you can do that, but because we need to look at that as a longevity
Yeah.
issue for council to budget out.
So what is the cost per light? I mean, she gets billed. for every single one.
$8.60 for some of them.
That's the flat rate.
Yeah.
Cause you have, 3 sizes of lights. You got the ones that are in the residential area, they're the smaller ones. You've got ones that are right along the main street. Those are, I think, that's an EC7, so there's EC1s are used in the residential, or EC7s are in the kind of commercial area, and we have some EC9s. Those are some of the bigger ones. I believe there's one at the corner of Babs and where Ninth Street turns off.
So in our residential developments, though, we're probably looking at DC1, right?
I think we started calling up for the EC7s. Because I don't know, I think that the ones are pretty dim.
Okay.
But we can go to Blacktop Estates and Mountain View, because all their lights are metered now. So we can find out what the cost is with the metered lights.
Okay.
And then we have the flat rates for the other ones that don't have meters.
So, well, time out. So, so is it cheaper to have it metered or flat rated?
Don't know that. Because anything that's coming in new, all has to be metered.
And that's a PUD
That's a
mandate.
PUD, yeah.
Mm.
So I would think we should be able to go through and figure out what the cost is, with the meters. And then maybe check back with their flat rates.
Well-
I'm sure they do that enough.
Well, for budgeting purposes, it would be a nice little ditty of information.
Yeah.
To have available somewhere. So that when we're looking at these housing developments. We can anticipate an anticipated cost increase over the long term of the electrical bill.
Yep.
Electrical.
Well, we'll kick
Yeah,
it up
we'll
to
get that
25,000 now and.
Yeah.
Revisit. The striping on roads and streets, I don't think we do any striping, do we?
Yeah.
We haven't done for a long time, and I think it's due.
It's-
We've had a complaint on 14th and Babs. Somebody called in.
Yeah, you can't see any of them.
There's a striping on 14th of May.
No,
If you get down on the
All right.
hands and knees, you might see some remnants.
Just stay in your lane.
Yeah.
Roller and, okay. Well, street sweeping, I guess that comes down to, you know. Do we? Get a street sweeper?
I think
Find me the money.
I was gonna say, if we can figure out how to budget in even that lease option to where we can pay a monthly installment. I know David doesn't like that. But I also know driving down Main Street and along some of these others, I mean, the leaves, it's that time of year again.
Right.
They're all getting piled up all over the place. And we all know what happens when it rains and everything else, they get gooey. And so I just think it would be nice if we can really figure out a way to get these guys, you know, maybe not the best of the best, but an entry level street sweeper to get it started.
Right, and I agree, and I think Jose's gone through, he's. You know, looked at the smaller sweepers. And the bigger ones,
I guess my biggest thing is what can we budget in per month? What does it look like? If we have this amount of money, then maybe we can say this is what we have per month for you to spend on a street sweeper.
Okay.
I mean, that's just kind of where we're at.
Right.
Hopefully it's more than $50 a month, but
I don't know. Never know.
I just think it leaves an impression when you go into a community and the community is well kept and cleaned up. And we just ran into an incident with the last, you know, people that we hired coming back and charging more because we had more junk.
Right.
I mean, it just,
Right, and if they keep
Yeah.
up on it, it makes a huge difference. It's gonna make a difference with using the back truck.
so I think
everything,
if we can
so-
figure out how we can pull some money or what the money might look like, then we can kind of set the guys on a path forward.
Okay. I think we're probably high on the roadside weed control. I don't know, 6,000's quite a bit and we've only spent, well, it's under 2.
So maybe if we brought it down to 3.
I think I'll jump in here real quick, we could probably bump it down to like 5,000. Because the way, so I'm the only one that's licensed right now for buying chemicals.
Right.
So when I purchase chemicals, I tend to buy enough to get me by for a while. And that's where you see that increase on the actual for like 22. So if anything, maybe, you know, leave it the same or put it down at 5,000.
Okay.
So,
Well, anywhere you can save $1 makes that street sweeper more possible. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
yeah,
The salaries and wages and the benefits are those, I know that they're low, but you mentioned earlier with like the added wages that.
It's
those
same-
numbers were
same
accurate,
thing.
So they should stay where they're at.
Yeah.
Oh, just making sure.
We got 4 more pay period. 3, 4. 3 or 4.
Certifications pretty well need to. Stay whether it's at, I think. So Alan, we're still doing repairs on 9th Street at Legion Park? What?
Yeah, I don't know exactly what that's in there.
Okay, so.
I think
it
it's
could be
just
a
been in
zero,
there
And it's just
for a
never,
number of years. And
so we can take it out.
I think so, unless you know anything on the Jose. The
Yeah, we can take it.
the 9th Street repair.
Let's
Well-
get close to your
well, actually, I talked to Wade about that, and neither me or him had any idea why that was put in. So I think we
Oh.
can strike the.
Okay, there.
0 it.
We're closer to a street.
I was gonna say,
And
That is though, Carla, to recall on the engineering projects, I was hoping to use those funds for Kindle Road to Mountain View.
Okay.
It's on our projects budget worksheet, so I don't know if you want to zero it out or transfer it,
Well,
or
I mean,
if
we
we
can-
just,
Transfer.
It'll take it
over,
out of that
it's-
line
it's,
item.
yeah.
You know, it just, we could take it off of this line item and if we put it somewhere else.
Oops. there
So
goes
now what
the
about
paper.
Babson's second crosswalk?
Yeah.
Yep, that's still on board.
Still on board?
Yeah, but
okay.
that's all coming out of, hopefully,
Should be coming.
Right,
out.
we're
Yeah.
supposed to get
Yeah,
reimbursed.
pedestrian crossing.
Yeah.
yeah, that's all an expenditure, but it'll come back to us, so.
Right, so it's something we have to pay for but get reimbursed for, right? Okay. And I don't know if you wanna leave money for downtown trees.
Well, what's our status on downtown trees? Do we got anything to replace?
We replaced them, I thought.
Jose,
All the trees on the main drag there were replaced. There's one or two trees that look like they might not pull through for next spring, but other than that, everything else looks good.
So maybe if we bump it down to 1,000.
Yeah, that's fine.
And then that 2,000 for decor cap.
The banners.
Yeah, what exactly is that?
I actually think it's probably. I don't
The
know
flags.
Wherever it went.
yeah, what happened to the flag?
I don't know.
It's
missing
been
for a
gone.
while.
Oh, do you know what? I think Wendy's got it. It's for that city logo flag.
So do you think we could? Are we looking to purchase more of those, you guys, or what are we thinking on
I
those?
hope so. I thought initially we were gonna have them so they could be on some of the poles. Not just the main poles, but like during holidays and things like that.
We can keep it.
Think. Linda, was it the solar one that we almost had paid off? We have like 2 payments left on it.
Yeah.
So, okay. So that is almost paid off.
Oh, that's
Or was it-
150,000 left in that.
Okay, so not that one. There's one.
There was one for 21,000.
Like, for your payments, it's on. Is it the?
Yeah, it was.
It's the wastewater treatment plant.
Well, you're just on top of it.
And then we're gonna have to
Build another half.
look in about 5 years to go out and do that again.
Or
I
less.
think we're at about 60%.
Yeah, but you keep adding houses and apartments
True.
and
Yeah, and
Do-
we're at 65% according to Wade. And so
At 85, we need to.
at 85, we have to build a new plant.
Yeah, that's according to what Wade was saying, yeah. We have to go with that.
Yeah.
and that's what Alan said, we're at 60%, so.
And I
um,
was, excuse me, I didn't mean to interrupt
Oh,
you.
no, go ahead.
I was gonna ask, we have 2 grants from ecology. One, we have a balance of 21,000 and the other is something like 159,000. One appears to be billed to the sewer fund and one is being billed out of water. So I'm assuming maybe, did we put in those lagoons like in 2008 or something? Do you know when we? put-
The lagoons were all put in at the same time with the plant upgrade. When you put in it's a Biolac, the blower system down there. I think there's one that is being paid out of water. We got a grant and loan for one of the plants. Yeah.
Oh, so, well, the one I'm worried about is being charged to sewer. So it says sewer fund on there.
Okay.
So I was wondering if it had two separate loans, one for if they're both ecology loans.
Okay. I guess I don't know much about it.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to ask Wade. Yeah,
And I don't know if he'll know much about it, just because
it was
he hasn't
Ronnie.
been involved, yeah.
Yeah.
So the one that's sewer has gotta be for the plant, because I know
Yeah.
that's not paid off.
Yeah.
Can you say both of them say sewer or no? One's water.
One is water.
Okay, so water is probably well 5, and then the one that says sewer is the completion of the plant.
I don't know, it came out in 2008. It was taken, and so it's down now to 21,000. It was the original cost of like 105, 103, something like that.
For sewer?
Yeah,
Hmm.
so we don't know.
The only thing that I can think of is it's possibly the line screen, but I think that was. I think it was earlier than 2000. I can go back and.
Yeah, I can ask Wade. I'm sure he'll know. But we're just going over it and trying to figure out. But we've reduced our debt quite a bit down to, it was like almost 3 million when I started, and now it's 644,000 and something. So.
I just kept going.
Okay.
Looks like wait, I was like, wait, I'm not on that page.
We have one other grant from the Department of Commerce for the climate grants, 100,000.
Yeah,
Okay.
that needs to go in there too.
And so it'll actually be 97,000 in grant and $3,000 for admin.
Oh, yeah.
Cost.
Oh, okay.
And we will have the RCO maintenance grant coming in January. Added revenues for Archie Board.
So when we have all the final actuals for 2023, we'll do a budget amendment, correct? Somewhere early in 2024. In that, I think that's.
I thought you had to have the amendment.
This
year.
is the
Right, no, you have to amend it, but then we're gonna amend it again once you have all the final numbers for 2023
that
to-
roll over.
so
We,
if you
I
have
believe we.
runovers
have
or something
Yeah,
to carry
probably.
over.
So
So that might be the time to add like
some of these
yeah,
other ones. But the closer we get, the better we are,
right.
so.
Also, there's the park in lieu of fee that Hayden Homes is gonna pay is 45,495.
The park in lieu of fee, so they're not gonna put in a park out there, they wanna pay a fee.
Yep.
And how much is that?
It's 10 cents a square foot.
Okay.
Minus that's net. And then they take off, there's about an acre and a half of roads, public roads. There's the overall park for River North is about 13 acres roughly. And then you minus the streets and roads, and then you have a net square footage for development, which is 454,000, I think. That equates to about 45,000 in park fees, roughly.
Okay. I prefer not to allocate those to anywhere but the other parks.
Right, and that's where it's supposed to go. It's supposed
Yeah.
to stay
Right.
Yeah.
In the park fund.
Okay.
So I don't know what page you guys are on, I'm on 19.
I'm on 18.
I'm on 20.
Oh, we're on
14.
Well, you said to talk about, well, we had
Yeah.
a question.
Hold on, let me catch up to you, Alan. Right there.
On page 18. And I can go over this with Sherry a little more. There's what I think underneath, there's the train bridge.
Mhm.
And then
15?
18.
Oh, I'm on 18, okay.
the four underneath that, that's the BF cog tap. There's 3 taps and a carbon reduction. I think all 4 of those should be moved to the street fund. The street-
Yeah, you hadn't done anything, so when I received it, that's how they have it labeled.
Right, but this is in the park.
Well,
Right.
the intergovernment revenue right here, this is all money that's given to us to do stuff.
Right.
But when I had Springbrook set it up,
Mhm.
this is how
Oh,
they
they-
said it had to be set up.
Well, they said it had to go into the park fund.
They said it had to be set up this way. I read what was sent to me.
But this is all street fund.
So it's,
yeah.
yeah, so we can move it.
Yeah, so I think it should be moved into the
Okay,
street fund is all.
you want all of it moved.
Yep.
Moved.
I don't, just those 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, those-
Which,
Just the cogs.
Yeah.
yeah,
Gotcha.
BF cog.
okay.
And aren't you supposed to be getting some more tap funding or anticipate more tap funding for the pedestrian crossings?
Well, that carbon reduction was part of the.
Oh, okay.
crossing, Yeah. So. Yeah. Yeah, well, I'll have to work with the TIB and. come up. Yeah, we'll get that straightened out. Or tap, I'm sorry.
I mean, we've got like 44,000 in city park upgrades. I don't know what we're upgrading in the parks. What is it,
Riverfront
44?
Park, that's.
Well, that's. we've
Where
got
you at?
improvements
That's
on-
Page 9.
Page 19.
Is that Horseman Park, Boat Park, Lawn Park, whatever the
Hmm.
park is it? Riverfront.
Well, this one.
It just says city park upgrades. Doesn't specify.
So I mean, if you're talking city park, is that the Boyard Carnahan?
Yeah.
Oh,
So. What upgrades were needed to be done at city park?
Well, I believe there was funding allocated to, well, at least last year, there was funding allocated to stove replacements,
But that's not the park.
air conditioners,
that's the community center.
Park?
roof. Yeah, I believe there was a whole bunch of money allocated to that park for that stuff. Now, why it's in the park fund, I'm not going to tell you, okay?
Because
So-
I would say these were probably. Well, that's in lines.
Well, there's 14,000 for community center furnishing.
Right, so
Yeah.
we could take that 14,000, you know.
And buy a
put it in-
stove.
Well,
Exactly.
yeah, what I'm telling you is, now remember, there's been other people in the pot, right? And this is where we're trying to figure out what's
Right.
what. But I know there was a whole bunch that the council said you could go ahead and do, because I don't know who replaced the stove, but I know the council said to go ahead and replace the stove.
Right,
Right, maybe.
Yeah,
right.
Just not.
Yeah, but I think we gave $7,000 for that purchase. That's what I'm saying.
Right,
So they wouldn't have got the cheap, I don't even.
and we got something that's not even useful.
Well, we budgeted for 7,000. That's what I'm saying. I think somebody has put it all together in that fund. And I don't know who.
well. And we're tasked with fixing it.
I understand you're
So-
fixing it, and I'm trying to explain that.
I
to
know
you.
you are, so it's like, so, I mean, they haven't said that the air conditioning needs to be upgraded or anything.
We had talked about that, and you
Yeah.
talked about putting in some sort
There
of,
was something in the ducts,
yeah.
in the air ducts. Jose, do you remember that?
If I could jump in here, so, a while back, I think maybe a year or 2 years ago, I think it's a year ago, there was a canopy that went up and over the community center and damaged the
Right.
roof. That was an insurance claim, and that's already been taken care of. And then, well, obviously the stove has been replaced, but we were having issues last winter with the heating and cooling of the building. So the HVAC system at the community center has already been replaced. And I think the only big project that we have going on at City Park is the tree work that we got approval for. And that's, fine pruning, about 11 trees and removing two older trees that are dying off. And that's about all that's going on right there. Everything else, I'm not sure. The biggest thing is probably the replumb of the community center with new toilets and water softener, and that's about. But I mean, that could probably be covered under the community center furnishing. As far as other upgrades, there's nothing that I could think of or remember that we had going on as far as the city park goes.
So if you do some math on all of the pieces, it'll probably be pretty close to that number. And again, I can't tell you why it's in the park fund. But
Should be facilities, right?
well, it should have been dispersed out that way. I don't know who was doing the books at a particular moment in time.
Yeah.
And I can guess, but, so I don't think it needs to be that much. Typically, what we've tried to carry is a total expenditure set for parks had been around $100,000. So why we're seeing a number of, 177 last year, I'm confused. Yeah, that doesn't make a lot of sense in my mind. And I'm sure you guys carried those numbers forward, right? And
Well, I'm sure.
so
They rolled over.
where those came from or who put them in?
Okay.
So I have a quick question. So where it says like in 2023, like I'm looking at the furnishings, community center furnishings. It says 14,000 was appropriated and 415 was spent. Does that mean that 13,000 and change gets carried over
Yes.
to, so then that would be 27,000 for furnishings then? Once we go through the end of the year, no more money's been spent on that, then that 13 kicks over. Is that what happens, or?
No, it doesn't get added to.
Okay,
It just.
So these are one-time line items typically. Again, we would allocate based on $100,000 goal to put, say Kyle would, back in the day, would give us a dollar figure for playground equipment. And he knew that there was X number of dollars.
Right.
And he would say, well, this park needs this park needs that. And we would allocate that out. So what, again, and I'm not, somebody put in some dollar figures that are obviously erroneous that should have never been in there. I can't think of anything for $44,000. Can you? Yeah. And the only thing I can think of is just those facility upgrades. Using deductive reasoning. That somebody actually put into the park itself.
Well, 14,000, it's the bid for the trees is 13,000 and something.
13,587.50.
This says $44,000 that was carried over from last year's budget, not this year's allocation for
Yeah.
maintenance.
Yeah.
So again, that number is an inflated number that I believe is related to those facility upgrades.
Which then that needs to be where it needs to be. I mean, if it's facility upgrades, it needs to be in facilities, whether it be the community center, library, whatever. Because the parks is the park.
There's
But
the
if
water
we're not
softeners.
doing any upgrades, $44,000 worth of upgrades and to any of the parks or.
Water softeners.
But that
New
would
stuff.
literally go under the community center. the facilities itself, it wouldn't go under parks.
Well,
And
pretty much a lot of the community center does fall under the parks and I don't know why.
I don't know why either, it shouldn't,
Right,
because it doesn't make any
it should have its
sense.
own separate,
We'll see, you and I.
like it
agree,
does the
so
library.
There we go.
so let's just kind of touch base on this, that 44,000 for the city park upgrades. Obviously, we know we have an expenditure on the trees that hasn't hit yet. But that's gonna be for this year under probably actuals, correct? Or are we not paying that this year?
If they get us the bill, it'll be paid this year. If it gets done, then we'll get it.
And then you got-
paid there.
you
He
got the-
usually wants payment right away after he completes the project, so
When's he slated to do it?
Tomorrow.
tomorrow.
Okay, so. For next year. You can probably cut. Jose, is there anything that park needs in particular?
The park itself, not that I can think of at the moment. It's just the trees is the biggest project we got going on. He starts tomorrow and he plans to finish on Friday is what I was told by him. But outside of that, I can't think of anything else that the park needs.
Restroom doors or anything?
So we have those already. I mean, we just need to install them. That's pretty much it.
Toy replacements?
What's that?
toilet replacements.
Well, I think we were thinking that would come out of, oh, you mean the toilets in the park itself?
Yeah,
They're fine. I don't think they need to be replaced. We bought stainless steel, toilets for longevity, so they still look in good shape, everything's operable.
okay, what about the toys?
As far as the toys go, what, that little toddler section where the kids play right there, it was vandalized. So we just need to replace a couple of wood pieces, nothing too major there. That's pretty much it on playground toys and stuff. The swings are fine.
What about the bedding underneath the toys?
We did playground mulch earlier this year.
Okay. So I would say that fund can probably go down to 5,000. Or 2024.
In looking at the park project, when council did the priority list, the highest prioritized item was the splash pad, which obviously we're looking at and getting an RCO grant for that. But the next highest priority was installing a restroom at Legion Park, which we had a number of 90,000 for that. If we took some of these funds that are allocated towards these parks that are basically over allocated, we could set a line item and make that a priority for the city to be completed this year. If it's something that council would be interested in doing. It's an option.
We'll have to think about that. Yeah.
And if I can jump in here, I agree that's an option, but I think getting the street sweeper and getting some new utility trucks is more of a need than a public restroom at the moment. But I do agree that that is another option. But I think if we're trying to scrape some money together to buy a street sweeper, that's where we,
Yeah.
that's the direction I hope we go to.
We could possibly use some of that park money then, the street sweeper, if it's used in the parking lots and such.
Well, I'm looking at some other issues here, right? We got some fencing that's gone in. And I don't see that in the actuals yet, so I assume it's not billed.
It's not installed.
Oh, it's not installed yet. They're starting. this
Tomorrow.
week, aren't they? Tomorrow, right, so.
But we'll end up
Yeah.
paying for it this year.
Right.
Correct.
It's not in line item, right?
And so we're gonna have budget amendments as soon as those bills come in to those particular parks. So it's what we just took out there is gonna be reallocated down into those other positions.
When
was
we
the-
planned for that, we had already kind of pulled out of these budgets for 2023. So. It's not written in the budget, but I met with Carla and Sherry and said that this is the cost of the fencing, and we looked at the cost of the park, so we can use this line for this amount. I don't have all those numbers right now.
Yeah, that's fine.
But I can get those to you. So it's all already allocated for.
Yeah.
In these line items that are here.
So can I ask what the 2,500 at Botaka is for?
I have no clue.
Jose?
I'm not sure. I think that was, for the future, sign because that park doesn't have a park sign at all. So I think that's what that was allocated for, because, other than that, I mean, the park was totally fine. There's no need for like toy improvements or basketball court's fine in there. The trees look good. There's nothing to improve other than, maybe putting a park sign. And
Yeah.
I know George brought that up last council meeting, and I know we're gonna try to figure that out here soon, so. But I think we should probably bump that up because, sorry.
I was gonna ask, was that for park bedding? Because I know the play structure there has no bedding under it. At Botaka.
There's a different line item for playground improvement. That's one of the parts that we didn't get to. And usually about a dump truck load costs about like $500. So I don't think we would use the full $2,500 for that small play area.
Yeah, and I don't see any kind of sign allocation on the other parks, so I doubt that 2,500 is for any of that. I can't imagine what it's for. So I would go ahead and remove that. For right now, bring that down to zero balance. This is really a thing for me, because it's my, I don't know, thing anymore, but Jose, I need you to really look at these parks and what we can do to improve them for children and adults and bring that back at a later time so that we can get some budget allocations in the future. I doubt we're going to do it this year, but I just something to look over the next year.
Okay, sounds good.
And I think I'm going to say, with that, Madam Mayor, I think we're going to have another meeting to continue on from page 20.
I can go back and make all the adjustments and.
As we're pushing 3 hours on this meeting.
Okay, do you have your schedules? So you want to just, I don't know if it's going to take as long. We have what, 28 pages plus the budget department requests. Is that right? Or 30 pages?
Now we have sewer and then water. We have 12 more pages to go.
You think we can do that if we have a meeting prior to the regular council meeting?
I think that might work.
We can give it a shot. Yeah, we can give it a shot. We can do an hour before the next council meeting, 6 o'clock again.
Because we have
To
to,
make the corrections on it and then send everything out to everybody to look at, to review it prior to it.
Okay. Yeah. When do we gotta have in our amendments? We gotta have them by first meeting December.
we have to have 2 readings, but we can call a special meeting and do them like we did in an emergency to do the 2 readings at once.
We're
Okay.
doing that with the ad valorem on Tuesday. We're doing 2 readings. An emergency reading, second reading.
Okay.
To get that in, to the county by the 30th. And we can do the same with budget.
So, yeah, we got a little bit of time. We'll try to push through it at 6 o'clock the next meeting. We could make notice of the special workshop 1 hour prior. And we'll see if we can nail this down a little bit better. Give somewhat readable. Yeah. That's-
Motion to adjourn?
I
Well,
second.
I think that's,
Wait a minute, that's my job. All
yeah,
in favor?
aye.
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 Alright, thank you, everybody, for coming out tonight. I know it's
Thank
a daunting process.
We'll get to it.
It certainly has been for Carla and Sherry.
Guys, good job.
Sherry, can you change fund names?